We're joined today by musician Gabbi Dluzewski. He's from the Swedish band Fränder. Gabbi, how you doing today?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for joining me.
Well, thank you for rescheduling.
Well, can you tell us a bit about your band, Fränder, for the listeners who maybe haven't found you guys yet?
Well, so Fränder is a Swedish Estonian folk rock band, and we're a 5-piece. We sing in both Swedish and Estonian. It's me, my brother, my older brother, and my wife, who is the core of the band. My little sister was in the band, so on the album that we just released, she's on the album, but she quit after the album. She had enough of her older brothers. So we have a new girl now who we are touring with. So we are an all-acoustic band, but our goal is to kick all the metal bands and the rock bands and the electrified bands in the nuts with our acoustic instruments.
Yeah, I've heard you guys referred to as the Scandinavian Jethro Tull. I mean, that's pretty high praise. I'm sure you're proud to be put in that kind of company, but is that what you guys were going for with the sound, or was it kind of influenced the heavy folk?
I mean, Jethro Tull is one of my number one bands. So I'm raised in a musician family, and my first band was the Beatles when I was, around 1 or 2, and my second band was Jethro Tull, my favorite band, and the first instrument that I wanted to play was flute. But then I ended up playing electric guitar instead. The goal was maybe not Jethro Tull, even though it's definitely in there, but our goal was to create something and also is like when we are now composing and when we are developing the sound even further, the idea is to create or find like the border to different genres. So we want like real trad heads to feel home listening to Fränder. So a Swedish trad head, for example, should feel, the polska rhythm and the typical Swedish harmonies and sounds. But we also want the trad head to feel a bit, maybe not uncomfortable, but excited about like, okay, this is folk music, but is it really? What is it more? Like, this doesn't really sound like we are used to. And the other way around, we would like rock, like proper rock fans to listen to our music and feel, oh, I recognize this and I recognize that, and oh, this is really cool and heavy, but what is this? Like, I've never heard anything like this before. That's our goal, to kind of find that sweet spot between different genres. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I imagine with your sister and your brother and your wife in the band, I mean, that's got to give you a great sense of, where the others are going when it comes to playing and putting together music. That's got to put you guys on a whole nother level.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things are just there, it's just there. We don't really need to discuss things since we have been playing together for such a long time and we know each other so well. So that's a nice thing, absolutely. But of course, there's having family in the band is also a difficulty, but that's another thing.
Well, I know you guys had a new album released late last year. Can you tell the listeners a bit about that, the latest album?
Yeah, so the latest album is called Fränder II. It's the second album. We recorded this album in a big metal studio in Sweden. I don't know if you have heard of the band Meshuggah.
Oh, sure.
So Meshuggah is one of the biggest metal exports of Sweden. It's very niche, but as you know, but still big and a cool band. But the guitar player of that band has just built a new top of the line studio in Stockholm, and the producer that we have been working with for several years in different projects, he moved to that studio, and he invited us to be the first band to record in that studio, and then we recorded Fränder II. And with this album, we also invited Björn Thulin. And Björn Thulin is a legendary percussionist from Sweden, because he was the founding member of Hedningarna. And Hedningarna was and is maybe still the biggest band in the Scandinavian folk scene. They started out like 89 or 90 or something, and during the 90s they were just revolutionizing the scene. They were headlining festivals. They were headlining a huge festival in Denmark, Roskilde Festival, and they were playing main stage, which is under a tent, the first time they played, and the audience went so nuts, so they crashed the tent. The tent just yeah. So Hedningarna was huge, and they still are. But anyway, Björn, he went to Finland. He moved to Finland and kind of, not in exile, but he quit Hedningarna, and he didn't really continue playing professionally in that sense. But then I met him by chance, and I asked him if he wanted to be part of this, and he heard the demos that we have made, and he called me and he was like, I've never heard anything like this. I really want to be a part of this. So this is actually the first album that he has recorded in, like, I don't know, 12 years or something. And they also, after this, they reunited the original Hedningarna as well. So we had a small part of reuniting Hedningarna. Yeah.
Well, when it comes to getting your music out there, and you mentioned, Meshuggah being a major export, how tough is it? And I guess how important is it for you to break into the United States? I know in the States here, we always kind of assume that that's a band's goal, but I don't know if that's always the case or not.
Well, I'm sure it's not always the case, but the thing is, so there are some key markets. We've been touring Canada a lot. We have done maybe 100 shows in Canada over the years. And that is like when we speak with people here in Sweden saying that we tour Canada, they're like, oh, cool. But the moment we say that we tour US, they are like, oh, all right, cool. So it's definitely a difference. Same with UK. Yeah, I've toured UK twice, and not with like any superb feelings after those tours. They have so much music in UK. It's a pretty small country, and they have music 24/7 every day of the week. Like every pub has music, and no one really gives a shit. It's like it's music everywhere. But still, when you tell people that you tour UK, that's like something extra, even though maybe you make more money in Germany. So US, I would say over here, US is still like on the top of that list. UK, US, Japan is there as well. We have toured Japan. We have toured UK. We did a show in New York in January, and we are going back to US on tour for 2 weeks in September, and then we have 2 weeks tour in next January. So we are on the way to get to US now.
Excellent. Yeah, that's exciting news for people here in the US. So we're in Minnesota, which is not too far from Canada. So I know there might be some people here who kind of hopped over the border and maybe saw you guys, but that's great that you're getting out to more of the country over here.
Absolutely. I mean, New York was great, and I can't wait to get back and to get to know US properly, because I haven't been there much. Canada, I know, and that's great, but it will be exciting to get to know you and your country. But Minnesota, isn't that, you have a lot of Swedish ancestry there, don't you?
Yeah, probably more than any other state, I would imagine. Definitely a lot.
Yeah. That was what I was thinking.
Well, I know the album was just out here not too long ago, but is there anything else maybe that you guys are working on as a band, or maybe just as yourself we should be watching out for?
Well, I mean, we are doing a lot of things here. We have our own festival. We organize a festival twice a year here in Uppsala, in our hometown. And it's an international festival as far as we can afford. And the winter festival is actually happening not this coming weekend, but the next weekend. So that's what is next for us. But after that, we're going back to Canada in the summer. We have some European dates, US in September. We're working on a new album as well. So there will be a new album. But something to watch out for is that we have so much video contents connected to the second album, the new album, that we are going to release now over the coming year. So that's something to look out for, and maybe follow us on YouTube to get the updates of those videos. It's both music videos, but also a bunch of live videos for each song, and maybe some run-throughs of our instruments. We have pretty special instruments that people are always asking about, and so that's something to look out for.
Excellent. Well, yeah, definitely looking forward to that, and I've definitely enjoyed what I've heard from you guys so far, and I appreciate you joining me today. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
And again, that was Gabbi Dluzewski from the Swedish band Fränder, and you can check out their newest album, Fränder II. It's available now.